Okay, so today is February 5th, 2025, and today is Wednesday. It's already midweek. So if you're looking to do something fun this weekend, it's not too far away. So today we are going to talk about step 2. So if you have followed my video yesterday about divorce recovery and then from there getting to a thriving life, not just surviving, step 1 was yesterday and step 2 is today, and we are going to talk about step 3 tomorrow. So a brief recap. So in step 1, we talked about finding your identity, because what happens is longer you are married to the person, or if you had a very long-term relationship but eventually something happened and then you broke up, or you had a separation, divorce, whatever, that you're not together anymore after a long time together, we kind of lose our identity. We forget what made us really, really happy before we got into that relationship. So after divorce happens, it's very easy for us to think about everything from the perspective of how it used to be. Whether it is 5, 10, 15, 20 years you have been with a person, your happiness, joy, career, everything has some attachment to the past, because that's how your mind, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind constantly kept thinking that how as a family, and if you have kids also, how as a family you had fun together, either if it was a trip or on weekends you had get-togethers with your friends, but then you attended as a family together, and I don't know if you went to the gym together, whatever it is, it all had some the habit, a lot of the habits that you have built together. And if this was your thing, that I don't know, if you went out on a date, maybe if you did, probably you didn't do too many dates, because that's one of the way, if there is a healthy date going on between two people, divorce doesn't happen as often. So if you are in a situation that your marriage needs some rework, that's a different things that I'm going to cover down the line, not right now, but down the line, that there are some statistics that couples who prioritize date nights once a week, for them, chances of staying together versus divorcing is really high. I forgot the number. It's like 70% or something. It's really high up there. So the date nights are one of the key. But anyways, I'm not going to cover that today. So you probably were not dating, but maybe even if you went out on a date, there are patterns that your dates did not look like anything the way it looked in the beginning. One person was probably quiet, the other person was talking, or you had this little bit of unexplainable quietness, right? So you had all of that. So that's how our identity over time shifts, the identity that you had before you met the person. So you have to reclaim your identity. So now that identity, say you got married at, I don't know, 30 years old, or you're 30 years old, and let's say your divorce is happening when you're 50 years old. And as that is happening in 50 years old, when you try to reclaim your identity, it may or may not be exactly the way it was when you were 30. And that is something that you need to realize, because you also had a lot of growth during that period, this 20 years, not only about your marriage, but your career, your health, a lot of the other things that happened that built you to be a different person. And from here, when you realize that, okay, this is my identity, these are my priorities for relationship, I want to make time for my kids, I want to go take a trip once a year, or I don't know, I want to reach to a C-level job in the corporate world. That could be your career. And health, I want to be healthy physically and emotionally. I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. I want to be in that range when it comes to weight. So the 4 areas, the quadrant, this is my exclusive way of training people in that midlife mastery program. We have that quadrant, the 4 things, like 4 tires of a car. For you to be able to drive 100 miles an hour, that car, those 4 tires need to be completely filled in. So when you reclaim your identity, you know the goal in each of your areas: this relationship, your deepest desires and dreams, your career, and finally your health. These 4 things are absolute key. If you focus even 3 areas and one gets ignored, and unfortunately the deepest desires and dreams is what gets ignored because this is intangible, and we as human beings, we don't realize it until a lot later. We don't realize it until a lot later because we are so used to helping others, either at home, at work, or friends. We pour from an empty cup. So we don't realize until it gets really bad. But you can take control over that. So this is why, and once you find your identity back, you work on those 4 areas, and then your step 2 is to learn how to enjoy the little things, how to find joy in where you are, in all of those areas, right? From simple things. So now, if you're coming out of a divorce, and I say that, okay, you can be grateful that you can breathe fresh air, or looking at the trees and the sky, you might think that I'm crazy, and that's okay. Because our perspectives at different time with different experiences that we have in our life can be different. So for us to be able to get to that stage, it takes some time, it takes practice. So either you can follow different method. I won't make it too complicated because in the video it might be harder to follow. I go through that with my clients, and actually this evening I'm going to meet one of my clients and in person. I'm excited about that. I'm really excited for him to go through this journey and become this amazing version of himself who will become unshakable, unstoppable, whatever you want to call it is, because it is possible. What I teach is it's not only about making a lemonade out of lemon. There are so much more possibilities. You can make lemonade, you can sell the lemonade, you can make a business out of lemonade. You can make different flavors of lemonade, right? You can create jobs for others from this lemonade business. So that's the possibility we are talking about when I say that surviving is making the lemonade out of when you get a lemon. But you want to thrive, you want to go beyond making the lemonade, right? So this is what I am talking about. So the first step, if you think of it, that you find your identity, you figure that, okay, you are a person who sees that the lemon is not the ultimate, that your attitude becomes that, okay, I can do something about it, right? You can do something about it. You can make the lemonade. So anytime you get something that seems like a lemon, you figure out a way to make the lemonade, right? That's the easiest way I can explain what step 2 is. And when you figure out, when you are in that cycle, then at some point with working on yourself, again, our external reality is all about the reflection, what's inside. So inside, you want to work on yourself. The inner work is ultimately what will get you there, that the potential from making that lemonade, from there you can, if you want to build a business of lemonade, you want to create different flavors of lemonade, you want to create jobs. So that is the potential. That's the step 3, and there nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. So that's the point. So in step 2, how to get there. So one of the key areas which I talk about, which I think in the industry there is a lot less focus on it. People focus on career or job because there is money associated with everything. So you need a job. Health perspective, generally people are okay with the physical health. If there is any problem, people go to the doctor. They forget to take care of the mental health. So you want to do meditation, praying, gratitude practice, whatever works for you. Pick just one simple thing, be consistent. All these areas, the way things work is pick just one area, one thing in one area as you get started. Be consistent. Be consistent. That's the ultimate key. Excuse me. And then over time, you want to measure. So if you're from a corporate industry, this will resonate with you probably more. You might have heard SMART goal. SMART goal is very specific, measurable, time-bound, all of that, right? Achievable, that's the full form of SMART. If you look up in Google, it'll tell you what SMART goals are. So you want to set SMART goals. So if you say that, okay, specific and measurable, if you want to say that, okay, I want to run a marathon, but it has to be time bound. You want to say that I want to train for a marathon and I want to get there within a year or 2 years. So that makes it time bound. And then what you do is the triangle. How you get there is the triangle. You do the thinking, speaking, action. More your words and action and thinking aligns, faster you will get there. So your goal, the SMART goals that you set in the quadrant, and the triangle is how you get there by thinking, speaking, action, aligning those 3, right? Because in the industry they talk about thinking, feeling, action. They don't emphasize enough about the speaking. Speaking can get you there a lot faster. Try this just for one day. Whatever, set a goal for that day. You can set the goal the night before or in the morning, that today I'm going to try to look for positive in every situation. And you might forget, so you might want to write it down on a post-it and stick it next to your monitor, where you would see it, right? And then purposely, when you either have a meeting at work or with your family, whenever something happens, try to turn it around to some positive spin. Give it some positive spin just for the sake of the exercise, right? And then you will see, as you start speaking positive, your environment around you also start responding positively with you. And you would notice it not only through their words, their body language, tone. There's so many ways to read people that you would see that it is reflecting. And more you do it, you will see the impact is higher. So that's why the speaking part is absolute key. And I don't know why that is missed in the industry, the importance of it, but maybe that's why I have it here for you. So align your thinking, speaking, and action. It will get you there to your goal a lot faster than otherwise it will be. It could take you a year, and you can cut it down to less than 6 months just by aligning your speaking with your thinking and action. Okay, so step 2, I'm explaining it in many different ways so that the concept kind of, you really align with it, because step 2 is actually a very key to get to that unstoppable zone. Because if you try to get from step 1 that, okay, I found my identity, now I want to become unstoppable. So what will happen is you will get there, but you will keep falling back to not only your identity before then, because what happens is it's like some things are supposed to be step by step. You can take quantum jump, but some things are supposed to be step by step. It's almost like, think of it this way. If you are walking, running, and flying, from walking, flying may be possible, but it's extra hard to do. And if you go step by step in that, it will be a lot easier for you. And not only it's going to be easier, you along the way you'd learn the tricks that otherwise you won't know. So from walking to running, you might figure out, oh, okay, if I run, I don't know, like I don't know how airplane works, where they go fast, and you probably have to go 80 miles, speed, and then you fly. Versus if you don't do that step from just going 5 miles an hour and you try to fly, and you'll keep falling. I don't know if that metaphor resonated with you, but you get the point. That some things are supposed to be step by step. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to go through this point A to B to C, right? Now, a lot of time what happens is when people go do a workshop or things like that after a sad breakup or long, marriage and the divorce, people go and try to get some help, and they get to a state where they are somewhat, they're living their life. They're not as sad, but they're there. But they still don't focus on building the identity, right? So once you build the identity, you really learn to love your life. And that is what is missing in the industry. You really want to learn to love your life. And that comes from doing some of the things, your deepest desires and dreams. And you guys know, if you're coming here often, that for me, the big thing was taking the trips, because that is my deepest dreams and desires. And if you're my friend, you know that how much I talk about it, right? And that was a game changer for me. That even helped more for me to, I found my identity back, but that really, really helped me and shaped me in a way that when I'm in 3, nothing can stop me now, nothing. I am in a place that where I know that I can figure out everything. And if you are in that state, if you want to get to that state, you want to go from 1, 2, 3, because you want to be able to, you want to know the formula for yourself, that what helps you to get to that, when you notice things around you. And if you're grateful, the sun was not up this morning, and the sun came out about, I'd say, 20 minutes ago. And right before I started making the video, it's now 17 minutes. I think it was about 25 minutes ago from that point of view. And I noticed it. And I don't mind when the sun is not there, but I like the sun. I noticed it. And that's what I'm talking about, the simple things. When I was in the kitchen, so I was doing the dishes. I was putting the dishes in the dishwasher. And that is normally something I'm like, I don't like doing the dishes. But I didn't have any resistance thought. So this is interesting. This might create some controversy. So in Buddhism, there's a concept about, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, just be there and enjoy the moment. So if you're washing the dishes, because I had to do some hand washing too, if you're washing the dishes, you're hand washing, putting it in the dishwasher, and there is some enjoyment in there too. It is there. However, there's nothing wrong with having an aspiration, because you don't want to be doing dishes all your life. There's nothing wrong with that, whoever does it, and they do it full time. And then if they're not enjoying it, then it's a resistant thought, and that is what is making their life very difficult, right? They don't love their jobs. So that's the finding that. So for me, what I learned is I felt the temperature of the water as I was focusing on it. I could hear the sound of the water that coming out of the tap and going down and hitting the pan, and the scrubber as I was scrubbing the dishes to wash it, and some area where I had to scrub a little extra hard because I was right there. I was not thinking about making this video. You know what I mean? So that is what is in step 2. You connect yourself so much with everything that even though it may seem like it's a work, it's not. And that's the transition. That's the transition from where you think that, oh my God, I need to focus on that. You don't need to. It becomes a habit. So like you guys heard me saying that there's this saying, I didn't say it, but you first build a habit, and then the habit builds you. You first build a habit, and then the habit builds you. So first you kind of train your mind. It's not about emotion, it's about disciplining your mind. You discipline your mind to focus on these things, and then it becomes a habit that you don't even have to remind yourself. So that's how, for me, I have been doing it for so long. But guess what? I still practice it. Because without the practice, it's almost like going to the gym. If you have been going to the gym for, I don't know, 3 years straight, and you are all, great looking person, and you are like right at where you want to be. I mean, not that if somebody has a little extra weight, they don't look good. It's all about, you feeling good inside and out. So let's say you are feeling good inside and out, and then you are in that perfect shape or whatnot. But then if you stop going to the gym, 6 months, it'll look different, right? You know what I'm talking about? Same thing with our mind. Our mind is intangible, but the impact is more than our physical body. So make sure to take care of that. Make sure to take care of that. So this is all about step 2. Make the lemonade, know how to make the lemonade, and try to figure out the things around. Like when you're making the lemonade, it's not only the lemon, right? It's a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, and you mix it. It becomes the lemonade, right? And then you take a sip. I'm not a big lemonade drinker, but if you like lemonade, think of the taste, a little sweet, a little sour, right? And how would it taste on your tongue, other than even that, like how the water, the lemonade would feel in your mouth, and as it goes down, right, in your stomach. There's so many things around it. It's because if you think of just, okay, making a lemonade, that's it, but there is so many things. Are you taking a glass cup, or are you taking a metal cup, right? How many cups are you making? How many lemonade cups are you making? Do you want to give it to some people and tell them to taste it, give you feedback? So there's so much around it. So that's what I am sharing more and more about it, because you want to ponder over this, the step 2. Do the things. There's so many things, and I talk about formula, right? So when I work with my client, I come up with specific formula for them, and not like 10 formula, just 2 to 3 formula. I have a lot of rule of 3. If you work with me, you'll know that rule of 3, because our brain, after 3, it kind of starts to forget what's the 4th point, what's the 5th point. Or also what happens is that if you have 6 different points, you will remember it randomly, but you won't remember all 6. And that's why I like to simplify things. You want to create a rule of 3 as much as possible. Less, like up to 3, no more than 3. So figure out your formula, what gets you from point 1, point A to point B, so that eventually you can get to point C. Step 2 is all about loving your life, right? Loving your life. So that way, when you start loving your life, when you set the goals, right? When you set the goals, you'll set those goals, and you will be so excited to get there. You'll be so excited to get there, no matter whatever is outside of your comfort zone. You wouldn't care, because by then you have figured out how to enjoy life in each and everything that you're doing. It's all about that. Step 2 is all about that, right? So with that, I hope you found this video helpful. So hopefully this thing helps you guys. You find your identity, and then learn how to love your life. And then number 3, tomorrow I will cover how to become unstoppable. Okay, so have a wonderful rest of the day. Today's what, Wednesday? Have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll have some shorts coming out later in the day, so check those out. And again, share this with some people it will, if you think that that'll help them to heal, if they're going through this painful journey of divorce or breakup from long relationship. Just consider to share, because you never know through that who is going to find some peace, right? You never know. So consider to share. And again, I'm very grateful for all of you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.